friends are synths.
One of my all-time favourite effects pedal manufacturers is Old Blood Noise Endeavours. Not only do they make these beautiful looking pedals that sound great, they also have some of the most creative and thoughtfully unique pedal demo videos that I've ever seen. And if you haven't come across these before, they are well worth going to have a look at on their channel. Now for this reason, I am particularly pleased and privileged to be able to share with you today one of their brand new pedals. Specifically, this one I've got in the back here, Screen Violence. Now, if you're a fan of popular electronic music, you'll probably notice that the name of this pedal mirrors the latest album title from Scottish electronic act Chvrches, and that's because this pedal has been designed in collaboration or in conjunction with the band themselves, and the sounds of the pedal are inspired by that album, Screen Violence. Now there's a bunch of things about this pedal that make it really interesting and particularly suitable for this channel, and I'm going to go on and talk about them in a wee bit. But one of the interesting things is of course that there's this weird Scottish connection with Chvrches, and what Old Blood Noise Endeavours didn't realise when they sent me this pedal to try out is that actually I have some weird connection with the band other than just being Scottish. Specifically, the drummer in my band Closet Organ used to work in the cinema of all places with Lauren Maybury, who's the singer of Chvrches, and many years ago I went to a party in her flat and was trying to convince her that we should start a band together because I think she played drums at that point. And unfortunately for her, at least, Lauren said that she had other musical projects on the go, which I think was probably Chvrches, by the way, and she wasn't able to make music with me at that point. And so it's a bit of a sad loss for her because she could have been much more famous and successful if she'd just spent some time with All My Friends Are Synths. Scottish connections aside, this pedal is of particular interest to me, and also I think probably a lot of people who watch this channel, because not only does it take quite a novel approach to the effects that are in there, but it also gives you both stereo inputs and stereo outputs. And not only that, you can input a mono signal and get a stereo affected signal out, which is really pretty cool indeed. So I'm going to take you over to my wee desk thing here and talk you through some of the bits and pieces before I give a demo of the sounds. So this is Screen Violence, which is described by Old Blood Noise Endeavours as a stereo saturated modulated reverb, which can seem like a bit of a mouthful, but as I go through and explain it, it'll hopefully make a bit more sense. Now, as you can probably tell, the pedal is split into two distinct sections. We have Screen and Violence, which is hopefully nice and straightforward. Taking things in reverse, we have Violence, which is a tube-inspired overdrive that's got a variety of parameters, including voice, volume, a gain switch, and also this big knob here, Violence, which impact on the intensity of the effect. Screen, on the other hand, is a particularly interesting combination of effects. It's kind of this modulated delay slash reverb, and unlike other pedals, the interesting thing about this is that all of the different parameters, or multiple parameters depending on the mode switch, are controlled using this single screen knob. So you don't have different knobs for delay time or feedback rate or anything like that, and it actually produces a really usable effect that you don't have to think a huge amount about, and it works particularly well on synthesizers, as I'll come to show you. There is external control over the screen knob using an expression pedal input here, which is also nice and handy. Now, each section is activated by a separate foot switch, and it's worth noting that these are soft touch foot switches, which is quite difficult to say. However, it is extra useful for those of us who are operating the pedal as a kind of desktop effects unit with our fingers, because that way we don't have to struggle to activate or deactivate the effects, which is actually a really nice touch. Now, another cool feature about this pedal is this particularly chunky switch here, and what this does is allows us to choose which of the two different effects come first in the signal chain. So let's say, for example, we want Violence to be first running into the screen effect. We can select that using this first knob here, and similarly we can switch it if we want the reverse order. And this is good because anyone that uses pedals or effects will know that the order that you put your effect in can dramatically change the output. So it's really cool, not only that they've considered this, but also that this switch is so heavy duty. Like, I love this. Now for this demo, I have my Behringer monopoly just out of shot over here, and the output of the monopoly is mono. So I've got a mono input coming into the pedal, but I have a stereo output coming out, and that's because, as I mentioned, this can stereoize a mono signal, which is really nice indeed. So for the purposes of the demo, what I'm going to do is just run a very basic arpeggiation on the monopoly and then show you some of the sounds. What a wonderfully simple arpeggiation we have. Now I'm going to engage violence first, and at the moment it's kind of set at unity, so there shouldn't be a big jump, but when I start to play about with the different parameters, you'll hear the character of the overdrive change quite significantly. And this is really useful with synthesizers in particular, because you can use this as a kind of boost knob, which is nice. Now if I engage the other side, which is screen, at the moment it's on what I would describe as a kind of delay modulated reverb. And you can adjust the mix between our kind of dry signal and the affected signal. You can hear that this is not just the standard kind of delay or reverb, it's kind of a mix of everything. And as we go up to the kind of extremities, it starts to get into almost kind of microcosm-esque territory, dare I say it. Then if I switch into the other mode here, kind of a strange modulated delay, and if we pull it back, very nice. So for the next part of the demo, what I'm going to show you is both of them engaged at once. Now the thing you have to be careful about running each effect in each other is that the jump in volume can be quite significant. So what I'm going to do is run screen into violence first, which means that the signal will come in, go into the modulation, and then go into the distortion. So everything will kind of be overdriven as opposed to an overdriven signal going into the modulation. And I'm going to set up a new arpeggiation so we're not bored with the old one. Let's engage this. And then let's engage the violence. Kind of beautiful and smeary. And note that the filter sounds like it's changing, but it's not. It's literally just the impact of the voice knob and violence. Dry signal again, pretty boring. Now I'm going to switch the order, so it'll go into violence first and then into screen, and I have to watch my volume so I don't blow your ears off. Hear how chunky that sounds? So to give you some more ideas of some of the sounds, I'm going to play just a few chords. See how boring that sounds on its own? So that is Screen Violence. Big thanks to Old Blood Noise Endeavours for letting me check it out. There's a whole bunch of features about this pedal that I like, and which I think make it particularly good for use with synthesizers. There's the whole practical side, like the soft touch switches, the build quality, of course this nice chunky button, and also the stereo input and output, including, by the way, again, the fact you can take a mono input and apply a stereo effect. But in reality, the sound is really what I like. There's something really nice about not having to overthink things and worry about setting the correct delay time, or figuring out what feedback, space or whatever I need to set. I can just apply this and everything just sounds really fantastic. And in all honesty, this has now replaced a variety of different effects that I was using before, like dedicated chorus pedals and stuff, because this is just so easy and convenient to use, especially with this added boost and kind of subtle grit that you get. I believe you can get this pedal now on oldbloodnoise.com and also at a couple of upcoming Chvrches shows in person, which is a really cool touch. And the price is, I believe, a very reasonable $269. I'm not sure what the UK equivalent will be at the moment because our country is falling apart, so you'll have to do that translation or conversion yourself. However, if you're looking for a box which will make your synthesizers sound nice and which just works really well, and which also, to be honest, is just a kind of fantastic collector's thing, I would definitely consider checking one of these out. What I'm going to do now is try it out with a bunch of different sound sources, because obviously I have a kind of collection of different things here, and then you can get an idea of what it might sound like with some weird and wonderful other devices.